Alright, it's time for the star card. And the star is one of my favorite cards because it is all about divine alignment and soul alignment and being on soul path. So how I see this card is there are 8 stars, or usually there are 8 stars. There's 7 smaller ones and 1 big one. And I am sure that there are many interpretations for this, but how I see it is the 7 stars represent the 7th chakra, the 7 chakras, and then the large star represents the star of your higher self. So I see that is being in full alignment, right? All the chakras, all the parts of you are in alignment, and then you are in alignment with your higher self, represented by the larger star, right? So this card to me means soul alignment, soul fulfillment, being on path, right? Being on the path that is correct for you, that is divine for you, right? We all have a path that is in divine soul alignment, right? So in order to talk about being in soul alignment, I want to talk a minute about not being in soul alignment. Like, let's talk about the reverse for just a sec. The reverse would be being on some path that isn't soul aligned. So it's the path that your ego thinks you should be on. It's the path that other people think you should be on. Your mother thinks you should do this. Your brother thinks you should do that. Your boss thinks you should do it this way, right? You know, your cousin, your best friend, whoever, like your lover, it doesn't matter, like fill in the blank. Somebody outside of you thinks that you should do it this way, right? Or, you know, you think you should do it the way society does it, or you think you should do it the way that industry norms think you should say or dictate that you should do things. Well, that can lead you off path, right? And being off path is never going to lead to fulfillment. It's not going to lead to happiness, and it's not going to lead to feeling a deep sense of purpose, right? So the star upright is, I am on path, I'm feeling a sense of purpose and fulfillment. I feel a love of life. There's a lot of water flowing on this card, right? So my intuition is flowing, my guidance is flowing, everything in my life is flowing. I feel abundant. This card is very much a card of like destiny. You're doing what you've always been meant to be doing, right? You are in a deep amount of purpose, right? It's very purposeful. It's very soul aligned. You are linked to your higher self. You are linked to your divine desires and your divine path. Now, when you are in divine alignment, on soul path, you generally feel very blessed. You feel very in tune with the universe. You feel very grateful and thankful. Gratitude is something that's very easy to access when you're in this sort of space of being on path and divinely aligned. You can feel at one with the universe. You can feel like, oh my goodness, everything is flowing so easily. This is so awesome, right? And the reason why it flows so easily is because you are in divine flow of the universe, in divine flow of your higher self, and you are on your soul path. Soul path, soul path. That's like basically what I think of when I see the stars. Oh, you're aligned with the stars. You're aligned with your higher self. You're aligned with your soul path, right? So that's the shortcut of remembering that card. So as we talked about with the reverse star, to me, this means you're off path. You're not doing what is aligned for you to do. You are on some other path that is not quite right for you. And this path might even be just a little bit off of divine path, but it's still off, okay? It's still not right. Whether you're this far off or this far off, it's still not right, okay? So part of what comes up with this card reversed is don't accept anything that is not divine path. Don't accept anything that isn't hell yes. Don't say yes to something that's only sort of what you want, right? Like, you get to have your desires. You get to have what you really want, what you truly and completely want inside of here. Like, you get to have that. Don't settle for less than full alignment. Don't settle for less than soul alignment. Don't settle for yes than a hell yes, okay? This is hell yes. This is not, right? So a lot of times when you are not on soul path, you feel overwhelmed, you feel confused, and you feel like I'll never get there, right? It's like, when am I going to get there? When is it going to happen, right? When is the breakthrough going to occur so that I can actually live the life I've been wanting to live, so that I can actually receive in the way that I want to receive? And I see this a lot, and I didn't used to know this until I moved to the other side of it, but when you're unable to receive, or you just feel like, ugh, why can't I figure this out? What is the secret? What is the trick? What is the thing that if I just figured it out, then it would work, then I could receive, then I could be fulfilled, then I could be on divine path, right? That everything in my life would just work and it would just flow. You know, what you have to realize is that those feelings of how do I get it to work and how do I figure this out, those are symptoms of not being in alignment and not being in flow and not being on divine path, right? When you're not on divine path, you feel off, right? And your feeling off is a symptom that you're not in full alignment. When you're in full alignment, the byproduct of that is ease and grace and flow and things working, and you receiving, and magically things are synchronistic, and the coolest things happen ever in life, and you're like, oh my goodness, right? And then you gotta call your friends and tell them about the story about the cool thing that happened. Of course it happened. You were in flow. This is being in flow. This is not being in flow. This is being on soul path. This is being on some path that your ego thinks that you should be on, or somebody told you that you should be on, when you actually know that you shouldn't be on it, right? Soul path, not soul path, right? So, oh, wait, hold on. Divine alignment, ego goals, right? Soul alignment, ego goals. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, the Star card, totally one of my favorite cards. It's good stuff.